Hi, no board gamers, and welcome back to a kind of special not board gaming. You see, I'm not in the UK. I'm on holiday. It's kind of the 3rd of January, and on Christmas Eve we came away, and we're currently in Sri Lanka, and I thought that would be a great kind of place to tell you all about the upcoming Cyber Pet Quest from Dead Alive Games, which comes to Kickstarter shortly. The link will be in the description below. So why have I brought it to Sri Lanka with me? Well, you see, all of this kind of dungeon crawly exploration adventure type game that you get all fits in this wonderfully sized box just here. It's like a book. It's like taking a book away from you, away with you, should I say. And in here you have a massive campaign that's a massive campaign. You have a campaign to play where you're going to take 4 cyber pets on an adventure to try and find their owner, Howard. You see, this game is set in the same world as Dead Alive Games, one of the Dead Alive Games' other games, which is called Omicron Protocol, which is kind of a skirmish battling game where you are fighting against other people and against Sims as well. Certainly in the solo game you're fighting against the Sims. Well, this is based in the same universe, but you've got these uber cute kind of cyber pets who you're going to take on this adventure. You have Jane the cat, you have Roman the Canadian goose, you have Freya the raccoon, and you have Clay the kind of Australian dog. And each of these cyber pets has their own kind of unique abilities, and you're going to get to kind of upgrade them as the game progresses. So they start off as kind of level 1, and then you've got level 2 and level 3, etc. So you get to upgrade them. So there's a real RPG element to it. And each kind of adventure and story that you play, it's an interconnected story, I say a campaign that's got branching narratives in there, so you can play it in kind of numerous ways. Each session is going to take you around about 30 minutes to play. It's perfectly ideal for setting up on a small table, which is exactly what I've done here. You see the table outside on the balcony of my apartment where I'm staying in Sri Lanka. It's quite small. It really is quite small. It's probably, I don't know, a couple of foot across by across basically. But I've managed to set the entire game up on here, and I've been playing it on this table. So Cyber Pet Quest, I say, comes from Dead Alive Games, who brought us obviously as well a Lunar Rush last year. Let me just drop you down, tell you a little bit about how it plays, and let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. It's perfect for kind of taking away from you when you want to play a campaign game that doesn't have a huge amount of, like 90 hours required to do it, and each session is not going to take you kind of 2 hours to set it up, 14 hours to play, and 2 hours to put it away. It's a nice, quick game to play, and it's got some good. It's good for a kind of family weight game as well. However, getting slightly ahead of myself, let's drop you down to the table, show you everything that's here, and everything that you see fits inside this wonderful box. Okay, so welcome to Cyber Pet Quest, and as I said, I've managed to get everything from the box set up for this scenario on my tiny table, and you can see it's a relatively small table. Yes, I've made some judicious use of space, but it does all fit on a small table, therefore it's a game that's not going to take in massive amount of table space. Now, you're always going to play as 4 characters. As I mentioned, we have Jane, we have Roman, we have Freya, and we have Clay, and these are these cards, and you can see they're all currently level 1. You do have the ability to upgrade these characters as the game goes on. They're going to get additional items and charms, etc. As the game goes on. And on here you've got some key information. So let's just take Jane's card for example. You can see that Jane starts with 4 energy, and energy kind of dictates everything that you do, plus a roll of the dice. You're going to add the energy or the luck that comes on that. With health of 4, she's relatively low on health. This allows her, when you roll the dodge die, even when she gets attacked by a sim, she practically dodges every time, basically. She's a cat, she's agile, of course she's going to, here are the actions they're going to do, okay? So 1 energy to move 1 space, 2 energy to inspect, I think that is, 3 energy to interact, and 3 energy, you get 3 health back, and also if you're damaging, it takes you 3 to dish you 1 damage, and you get to move 1 space. And each character has their own traits, and that's that there. That's kind of how each card works. Each card is obviously slightly asymmetrical, but you get the idea on that. And there's a little bit of information on the back of that card that says you will upgrade those as the game goes on. They go below here. Here we have the energy, and we have their luck, and we have their health, starting health here. Let's say, now we've already kind of done the introductory scenario. So they've all gained these pet collars, which give them this here. They can spend 3 luck to gain 1 energy or 1 dodge if within 0 space of another pet, basically. So if it's in the same area as another pet, then Jane can certainly use that ability. So that's kind of, you've got the 4 pets. Here we have the cards, which is effectively your map for this. So we're in the apartment here. Now all the characters are based here. You can see I've got little wooden meeples for them all. We've got Jane, we've got Roman, we've got Freya, and we have Clay there. And the aim of this particular scenario is to stun each sim, that's these guys here, red, blue, yellow and green, at least once, and if at the front, and then get to, let me go there, and 3 or more pets are at the front door space 1 or at the back door space 6. So the pets have got to stun each of these sims once and get to either there or there to allow a conclusion, to allow successful. And that then allows you to read a part of the branching narrative, and the story does branch as it goes on. So it's a fairly starts you off nice and easy and then builds you up as time goes on. Now a couple of things to note. When you first when you first take your go, what's going to happen is you're going to draw from a pet initiative deck, which is there, tells you which pet is going to take their turn, and they make a decision as to whether they sneak, which is this token here, so that becomes active, or they don't sneak and they take the aggro token here. So what does sneak do? Well, sneaking costs a little bit more here, but it means they don't gain the aggro token, so they don't take the aggro token, they can't issue damage to the sims, but it allows them to move around without the aggro token. You see, when the sims are honing in on you, what they're going to do is they're going to hone in on whoever's got the aggro token, unless they can't specify something different on there. So you make the decision as to whether you're going to sneak, and if you do, use the token with that side up, or if not, you're going to do that, and if you don't sneak, you take the aggro token, and all of these arrive here. So the first thing we'll do is draw from the pet initiative deck. Oh, it's actually going to be Jane who's going to go first, so that's good. All right, so we'll just put that to one side, and we'll take Jane's turn in a second. Just one other thing I mentioned, you've got these interactive parts here which have been named. We've got some pots and pans and some bookshelves there, so when I get there I can use an inspect action to have a look at those. I think it's called inspect, that one. Yeah, inspect action to have a look at those. And here we have these 4 blue kind of cubes, objective cubes if you like. If I use an interact action on those, I believe it is, then what I can do is I can take an item from the item deck and I can have that item that will give me abilities. However, so we're going to go with Jane first. And the first thing we do, we've got a nice little round marker here, okay? Get 1 turn and you draw alternatives. So we're going to draw a pet and then draw a sim and do that. And then we're going to perform energy generation die roll. So as mentioned here, what's going to happen is Jane's going to get 4 plus, so 1, 2, 3, 4, plus whatever energy is generated from the die rolls. Oh, and then she's got another 3. So she's actually going to have 7 energy. That's going to dictate what she does, basically. So that's the first thing that happens. Are we going to sneak? No, we're not going to sneak. So we're going to take the aggro token, and we're going to spend abilities in my action store. This is my action store just here. So this is Jane here. What I might want to do is I might want to inspect what's happening in these pots and pans here. Right, so I'm going to move 3. That's going to cost me 3 energy. 1, 2, 3. So 1, oh, I'm going to move 2, sorry, 1, 2. There we go. So Jane's just moved to there, and that's cost her 2. Now, one thing you can do at the end, any energy you don't spend, you can convert into luck. And Jane also has a special trait. I could re-roll one of my energy dice, which I didn't need to do. And during her turn, I may give 1 of my energy to another pet within 0. So actually, before we do that, we will give 1 energy, and we'll give that to Clay. So Clay's going to start off with an energy. Then we'll move by 2, 1, 2. So that's done that. So we start off with 7, gave 1 to Clay, 6, move 2, 5, 4. I still have 4 left. And now I get to inspect. So let's inspect this here. And inspect for me is going to cost me 2 energy. 1, 2. That puts me down to there. Let's see what pots and pans says. Okay. And pots and pans says, you see lots of pots and pans hanging from the ceiling over the middle of the kitchen. Maybe they could be useful. Oops. Interact deals 2 damage to all sims in this space, 1 time use, and all sims entering this space suffer 1 damage. Read interlude number 1. So that's once I've interacted with it. I could interact now, there's no sims in that space now. And what does that mean in terms of sims damage? Well, there are different difficulties. There's easy, there's medium, there's hard, and there's nightmare. I've chosen medium for this particular playthrough, or well, for this particular overview. They're going to move 2 towards me, they're going to deal 2 damage towards pets, and it's going to take them 3 to stun. So it wouldn't quite stun a sim if I got them into that space and managed to do something with it, but it gives you an indication of what's there. So I've still got 2 energy left. What can I do? I know what I could do. I could see if I can get an item. So we can, I think it's interact for an item. So it's the same cost to me anyway, whether it's interact or inspect. So we're going to interact. So I'll spend my last 2. 1, 2. We'll take that. We'll take an item from here. Let's see what Jane's got. She's got Mr. Snuggles. Used when this pet takes damage, this pet may re-roll any dodge. Well, that's good then, so that's fine. So you've got an item slot at the top up there, but I'm just going to put that there for now. You've got 3 item slots up there, but of course, given the table space I've got, it's not quite ideal. That's the end of Jane's turn. Now, if I had any energy left over, I could have converted it into luck at this point, and as we know, luck allows these abilities here. However, we didn't, so we're going to do the Sims interactive deck now. And it's the green sims, boo, and they're going to move. So the green sim is Glitch up here. So let's just move that there. And here we have Glitch as a green sim. Target closest pet instead of pet with aggro. Oh, they're over there. If tied, player's choice. So we know from this that, here we go. Now from this, they're going to move 2 towards me, and ordinarily they would move towards the pet with the aggro. However, that's been overridden here. So what they're going to do is move 1, 2 here, and choose a pet here. So we know that Clay's got the most health, so they're going to attack Clay, and they're going to deal 2 damage. Okay? Oh, actually, no, they're going to deal 2 damage to all pets in that space. So all of these pets, not Jane, sorry. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Actually, before we do that, we have to do the dodge. So we have to roll the dodge die now. So here's where this die rolls. Now, Jane, she's not in that space, but she is valid for dodge, the dodge symbol on all of them. All the others will have something crossed out. So if the dodge roll for Roman is a little feather, that's fine. Anything else, 2 feathers or 3 feathers, doesn't happen. So let's have a look. Let's roll for Roman. Oh, that's just a look. So they get 1 look, but they don't dodge, so they're going to take 2 damage. 1, 2. Now Clay has got, let's have a look at Clay. Clay again is a single feather. Okay, so Roman actually reduces damage by 1, so there we go. That's fine. Clay, Clay manages to dodge, so that's good. So Clay has dodged, and therefore I think that dodge is just 1 damage. Yes, they've dodged 1 damage, they only take 1 damage. Remember, they're doing 2 damage. And finally, they can do 1 feather. Freya can do 1 or 2 feathers. So there we go. 1 feather, that's fine. That's 1 damage, so they've taken 1 damage just there. And that's it. That's the Sims go done. So the green one moved up here, attacked all the creatures in that space. And now you'd go back to the pet's turn. And we take the pet and we look at the next pet. It would be Roman's turn. And you would follow exactly the same as you did for Jane, trying to unravel the mysteries in here, trying to defeat, as we know in this particular scenario, trying to stun all of the Sims at least once and get to either the front door or the back door. Then you complete the scenario. I mean, how neat is that? You've got this wonderfully kind of branching story line, this progressive gameplay, this story as they go in search of Jane's owner Howard throughout the city of, I think it's called San Lazaro. You've got this adaptive Sims going in as well. It's a really neat concept that all fits into a tiny box. It gives you that kind of dungeon crawly feel. Really like this. So that's kind of a brief overview on how it plays. Yeah, let's talk about my final thoughts. Oh, come on. Now, that is pretty super cute, isn't it? I mean, what you've got is this emergent kind of dynamic gameplay and this great story evolving from a relatively small box game. Everything fits in that box. Yes, this table size isn't ideal. You do need a little bit bigger table size than what I've got here. But in reality, it takes up very little table size as well. What I really like about it is you've got this branching narrative and this story with the various interludes that happen as well, that really open the world as you play, and you get to understand more, and you get to kind of solve the mystery of where Howard's gone. You get the RPG element of upgrading your characters over time. They will get traits, they will get charms, they will get items, they will upgrade over time, they will become more powerful, which means that their actions cost less, so you get a real sense of progression as you go along. It's perfectly balanced for kind of a gateway game into kind of, I want to say dungeon crawly, but adventure style games. Yes, it's not quite dungeon crawly, but you know what I mean. It's got that adventure type game feel about it. So if you've got kind of younger gamers who've seen you play some of your games and they want to experience that, then this is ideally placed for that. But also for more experienced gamers, what you've got is something that's nice. It takes no time to set up, and it's quick, and it's light enough to be appreciated, but also has an element of depth to it as well. You know, the upgrade options that you've got are just great, and deciding which kind of branch of which story you're going to take means that there is more and more replayability here for it as well. It's quite a unique thing. You know, we see a lot of kind of smaller box dungeon crawlers that can come out and they feel a little bit staid and like they're lacking in something. This has a bit of a big game feel in a small package, and I think what they've done, Dead Alive Games, have kind of ideally pitched this in a position where, you know, yes, we could really expand on this and build X, Y, and Z from it, but in reality, no. They've pitched it exactly right. They've created something that's light enough for non-gamers to enjoy and to experience. It's got enough depth that experienced gamers will understand how to build and how to do the mechanisms, etc. on it. It's got enough replayability on it, and it's got that portable feel on it as well. It just hits that very special niche in the market that will appeal to some gamers. Not going to be for everybody. You know, it's not a deep game, so if you're looking for something a bit more challenging and a bit deeper, then it's not going to be the game for you. But for me, I've really enjoyed my time with Cyber Pet Quest. So, Cyber Pet Quest from Dead Alive Games, coming to Kickstarter. The link will be in the description below. I've enjoyed my time with it. Thank you for watching from me from Sri Lanka. My name is Mark. This is Not Board Gaming. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out our other videos. One final thought: if you can't find anyone else to play with, then there's nothing wrong with playing with yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye.